Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of season 2 of the Life After podcast. I do always tend to say that we do take this podcast in different directions on purpose, but we are definitely once again going in another direction today. And we're going to be speaking to an ex-police investigator who's actually now got her own podcast channel, Spin Justice, which is absolutely flying. You're very busy. I don't know how you do it with all your spinning and whatnot. But yeah, welcome, Hayley Owens.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Took a while to get sorted, didn't it?
We had to do a few rearrangements there, didn't we?
Look at our chat the other day. In fact, I spoke to you and my missus. Yeah, a bit of a weird one really in terms of your story. And I was reading through it earlier, and I was like, wow, okay, you've again fitted quite a lot in. How old are you now?
40.
Okay, yeah, you've definitely crammed a lot in. So, I do, look, we don't start here on the story that you've sent me over with childhood, but I just want to touch on your childhood, and you talk about a bit rough and ready, and you could handle yourself. So talk to me about younger days.
Just, do you know what? Birmingham, council estate sort of vibes. That's where I grew up, and I've got nothing but good memories. Like I still live on like the B31 estate now.
Yeah.
My spin business is called B31 Spin. It's just because like, that saying, you can take the girl out in Allfield. You can't take Allfield out the girl. It's one of them, isn't it? So it was always kind of almost, not that you'd ever forget your roots, but yes, it can be a shithole. But at the same time, like, you still love it. It's our shithole, yeah. So I could still walk down Allfield High Street and I just love it. I just do.
They're for me the best childhoods. It weren't as rough where I grew up, but it was very heavily populated with kids of the same age. Everyone felt safe playing out, and it was a case of play out till dark.
Yeah.
And then you get the shout for your tea, and
that's it. Yeah.
You do it all again.
Yeah.
Next day. Okay. So in terms of sort of like hobbies and stuff like that, as a young girl, was you more sort of like playing with the lads and that, or was you sort of?
Well, I've got brothers, but not. Yes, I suppose there was a bit of a tomboy era, but not to the point I'd be playing football or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
They wouldn't let you on, I imagine. You'd take them all out.
Yeah. But I just think growing up, there's my older brother, then me, then my younger brother. So everyone just sort of hung around together.
Yeah.
And then like sort of 13, 14, 15, there was like a big, massive group of us. So it was boys and girls.
But you were looked after, I imagine. If anyone was, any lads fucking you about and that, you're protected kind of thing.
Yeah, but I could stand up for myself pretty much as well. So it was, it weren't really, like you say, everyone just used to play out.
Got on.
Yeah, there weren't no drama.
No, God, yeah.
It was nice, wasn't
Absolutely.
it? Good days.
Correct. We'll get on to the police in a minute, but that sort of leads me on to sort of, you must have done all right at school then.
No, shit.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, fair enough. Talk to me.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to leave.
Yeah.
My son's there now. He's in year 11. He's about to leave. And I said to him, do you want to go and look round sixth form? And he was like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay here for another day. But we're just not academic people.
I said the same to my daughter the other day because I was struggling to get her to school some of the time. And I said, look, if you go, show up, hold the pen, against the paper, I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really bad, but for me to turn around and say, right, okay, I want you to get into X uni, and all, it's just not going to happen. She's an arty girl.
Yeah.
And she loves that. And I just said, play the game.
Yeah.
I don't think my mum and dad even asked me what my GCSE results were. And I got them on my birthday. It was a horrible day because they were bad. But yeah, I think that, as long as they go and they have a go, and then I'm excited for the day when she turns around and goes, right, Dad, it's time to start work now. It's time to start getting into stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you're either that way inclined or you're the other way, aren't you?
Massively. And I think for us, me and the boys, we're not academic. I know I obviously went into like a criminal justice career, if you like, but my youngest, well, it's funny because Richie Thrower, who he came on my podcast a few weeks ago, and it was funny because the day came on, my youngest said to me, can I come with you? I was like, no, mate, you got to go to school. And he was like, I'm going to learn more with you today because he wants to join the army.
Yeah, perfect.
So he's like, I'm going to learn more with you coming and speaking to him.
He's made his mind up. He's going in.
He wants to box and he wants to go in the army, box for the army, then come out and turn pro. That's what he wants to do. But that kid's wanted to box since the day he was born.
Did anything Richie said that day deter you from that?
So funny, because I said to him, like, you've got the experience of being in the army and I've got the experience of the police. So if my boys turned around to me and said, I want to join the police, I'd say over my dead body.
Yeah.
Whereas, how would you say it if it was the other way around for the army? And he was like, you need a trade.
Yeah.
Go in. And
everyone says that.
Yeah. So he didn't say, he weren't as blunt as me, like over my dead body, but he was, you need a trade. And then when I explained about him wanting to box now, he says, yeah, that could work for him because that's what he wants to do.
Fair play. So again, excuse the pun, you spin some plates, don't you, in your life? But we'll go to the start of your professional career. So at what age did you decide you wanted to go in the police?
I didn't want to. It was just I basically was working in an office and I was getting made redundant, and it was a day where the Evening Mail used to come out on a Thursday and all the jobs used to be in there on a Thursday, and I just circled a load of jobs and applied to them all, and the police was one of them, and it was the first one that come back to me, and that's how it ended up. I mean, I'm a believer in everything happens for a reason. It was meant to happen, but it weren't like, oh, I really want to join and like have something to do with the police. I didn't.
You remember those moments? I'll never forget. I was working in a mobile phone shop. I think I was a bit older than that, but we got told the shops were shut because mobile phones all went online then, didn't they? It weren't like your orange shops and all that stuff. And again, I just wandered into this recruitment agency. I've been doing it ever since, but it was just by chance that they said, right, you're going to be out of a job next week. So, okay, so you didn't necessarily have a passion for it, circled it in the paper. I thought it was quite hard to get into in them days.
So no, basically I had to do some tests. So I mean, when I say I done shit at school, don't get me wrong, I can read and write. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like completely illiterate.
What grades did you get then?
I got like a C in English.
Okay, you scraped it then. Yeah, for what you wanted to do.
I got a C in Spanish. Maths and science were like D's and E's. In fact, they were E's. And I'm more like your drama and your media, B's and C's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got 5 C's or above just by the skin of my teeth.
I think I did all right in English, and as talkers, I think that's just come naturally. And I know we were a lot younger when we did our GCSEs, but I think that's in but like you saying, maths and science, I was a bit like, what the fuck? I'll just put my pen down and think upon
Same. Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about the application and the recruitment process, how it went.
Yeah, so application was pretty easy, really, and the recruitment process wasn't hard, but there was a process. It'd be like, right, you come to this police station on this date, this time, and you do some tests.
Yeah.
Then you go to this location and you have like a medical, and then you'll have a drug test, and then they'll do a bit of vetting.
Yeah.
And then you'd have an interview. So it was like...
It's quite sort of...
Yeah, it weren't just like turn up, have an interview and it's a yes or no. It was there was a process to follow. But, I managed to get through every one.
Yeah.
And, it took probably a couple of months maybe. But by March 2004, they were like, right, you're in. Your first shift is... I think it was St Patrick's Day on a Friday night.
You weren't on the beat, was you?
I was in the custody block.
Oh wow!
On a Friday night.
Busy then.
On like a busy fucking day of the year, and I actually thought, what the fuck have I done?
Well, I was going to ask that. You'd either be like, yeah, this is ace, this is fucking rough and ready, and it's sort of full on, or was you daunted by it, or?
I think I'd done like 4 weeks training at Talio.
Yes.
So now we're in April. I'm 18. Your first shift's a Friday night, so you don't start till 10 o'clock at night. Turn up, and most shifts back then worked in pairs, but I didn't have anyone to work with.
Right.
So how am I supposed to learn? Do you know what I mean? So
like a shadow kind of.
Yeah, someone that's got a bit of experience. So I mean, even to like work the computer systems and stuff. So like I've turned up, and the bloke that was on late should have finished at 10. And I don't know what I'd have done, but he stayed with me till 2 a.m. because he was like, clearly you need someone to help you. Yeah. So he stayed with me till 2, and then he went home, and then I did the last few hours on my own.
So even at that point, you were a bit like,
I had a custody sergeant with me, so like there was 2 of us left basically. So like there was me.
Yeah.
So like, I nearly made a joke then, but it's like in a custody block.
It's okay.
Yeah. So you press the buzzer.
Yeah.
Someone answers the buzzer, or someone gets booked in. You've got to be there to book them in, do the fingerprints photograph, get the doctor, get the solicitors.
Yeah. Really? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but first day,
because I suppose what you're faced with, they don't want to, or you don't want them to smell like fear or inexperience. You want to be quite assertive with what you're doing because you're the boss in the situation. But I imagine you're a bit like winging it.
That's my life.
Yeah. Okay.
I've winged my whole life, even up to this very day.
Yeah.
It's all I ever do. So it's like, and it's done me all right.
You're doing something right, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so you were in you worked in custody for 13 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Mm.
So was there no sort of area for progression within that period, or was it a case of you were happy?
I was happy. Actually, believe it or not, the money was really good in there because you got like a 35% shift allowance. So it's a decent bump up really for working shifts. So it suited me,
Yeah.
From like 18, I had my first son at 24. So for the first 6 years, I'm just like coming to work, a lot different to like now.
So was you doing nights? Was you permanent?
Yeah, not permanent nights. No, it would be like, it was a funny shift pattern, but it was like 2 earlies, 2 lates, and 3 nights, or whatever fell on the weekend would be your 3. Mm. So if it fell on the weekend as a late, you'd do the whole weekend of lates, or nights, or earlies, and it was just a rolling weird shift pattern. I don't think you could get away with it now because it was 7 on, 2 off.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be acceptable to do.
Well, as you say, I've seen the environment, and it always seems heavily male populated.
Oh, it's massively male dominated. Yeah.
Was it like when you were there in terms of the percentage of women working?
Well, I was the only female in there for ages, and then another girl came along on a different shift to me, but we've stayed mates to this day. Been away together this year, but we're talking 20 odd years ago.
So you formed like a little team.
Yeah, like she's one of my best mates now. Yeah. Still, she moved to Devon and Cornwall. Yeah. But at the time, she was on a different shift, and she'd actually got a sort of like a prison officer background. Mm. So she knew a bit more, and she was a little bit older. So, she really knew what she was doing, whereas I was just like thrown in.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of, was there ever any points within that 13 years where you were a bit like, I don't know whether this is for me, but from what you said, it sounds like it just got better and better and you became more comfortable. Oh,
I was massively comfortable. I was hugely comfortable.
Yeah.
It was only the point of coming back to work after having my own kids that I started thinking, I don't know if this is for me. And it was purely through the amount of sort of like sex offences against children that we were booking in. So I was booking a lot of people in that were teachers, sports coaches, priests, etc. And now I've got my own kids. So my mindset changed.
Okay, so we were having a conversation again around that topic before. And was that something that increased from a certain period? Because I asked a question when I was in custody regards my wife. And I said to the guy behind the counter, I said, has this always been a thing, suicide? Because it seems to me like it's only sort of kind of ruined its head over the last decade or what have you. And he just said, yeah, it's always been, it's just social media that exposes it now.
Suicide.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like in terms of the sexual predators that are out there and stuff. Was that something that just started while you were there or?
Oh no, it's always been there, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Always been there. But, we never had the internet, did we?
Yeah, and I was thinking like, did you get the feeling that people were getting away with it more than,
I would imagine so. Yeah, I'd imagine so massively because we talked about a podcast that I've just been listening to the last couple of days with John Wedger, who is a whistleblower for the Met Police. Yes. And John Wedger. You want to listen to it? It was I think it's on the John King show.
Yeah.
Oh my God, if you just type in John Wedger into Spotify, say for example, he's
done
quite
a few. The more you mention Sam, I definitely have seen things pop up.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Listening to him and the things that he came across throughout his police career. Mm-hmm. Like, we're talking like the 90s, that was like, it's been happening before that. Mm-hmm. But every time he sort of uncovered some corruption or something that was going on, it just kept getting shut down. It's always been happening, but we didn't have the internet, did we? So
No.
you know things that are happening like that now.
Okay, so in your head then, you got someone coming in, they've had a punch up, you're like, oh, lads, what are they like? You got someone in who's burgled a house, you got someone coming in who's been caught with drugs. But those kind of people, when they're coming in the pit, did you feel a different way? Because I know people say, oh well, they're professional and they've got to treat everybody the same.
You have to treat everyone the same, and
Felt
I'm a human being like everyone else, so I always think people that are saying anything but. So let's just say, obviously, if we said, I'm against paedophiles, who's for paedophiles?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Who's actually for them? Because if anyone's for them, there's questions to be had.
And I always say, like, you know, these barristers and lawyers and stuff who represent them. Wow, what a fucking job to do! Because, you know, imagine driving home and you've just potentially tried to get someone off something like that, going home to your kids.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's got to be a
but they're doing a job, aren't they? So you've got to remain professional in your job. Doesn't mean that you don't have an opinion or you feel a certain way. Yeah. But I'd never jeopardise my incoming through someone like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
You've got to book them in, you've got to do the fingerprints, you've got to give them however many meals a day.
To a degree, yeah.
You got to, yeah. But to a degree, but then sometimes you hear things, you see things, and you can't unhear or unsee that now. So it will affect you eventually.
And I imagine some stuff stayed with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It made me really ill in the end.
Yeah.
I had like a decade's worth of therapy.
Have you, and again, obviously we don't mention names or anything, but have you ever bumped into anyone that you know of that's done something pretty bad and, you know, later down the line they've been released? You know, again, you're working in West Mids, aren't you? Yeah. Is that ever? Yeah.
No, it's never happened. And do you know what? It's really funny because I didn't work too far off the patch that I lived on.
Yeah.
So, you might. I mean, I remember the once opened. I'd come into work. I think it was like a Saturday early shift or something. And I opened one of the cells. My ex-boyfriend was in there. I mean, it was. It was in for like drunk and disorderly or something. Do you know what I mean? I can't even remember what it was. But you know, and you think, fucking hell.
Did he say, "Giovanna's giving it another go"?
Yeah, I was like, "The fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
But like, no, not for anything like child sex offences or anything like that. I've never bumped into anyone, thank God.
I was going to say, so do you, I think I told the story on one of the podcasts that I did, and in a really crazy, indirect way, a client of mine had a lad walking off the street. At the time, I was really short-staffed. I was working on my own in the office. I was literally trying to do everything. I was shit at admin anyway. So he's rung me up. Bill, I've got this lad. He's coming off the street. He looks all right. Come on over, register him. I was thinking, sweet, that's fucking half the job done.
Yeah.
Turns out it was fucking John Venables. Yeah. So
it's not got a pseudonym now, so a different name.
Luke Taylor was his name when he got released.
Right.
So we're going back now. I'm trying to think. 2018, I want to say this was when it happened. He then got recalled after that. That was then when I received the call off the client, who I classed as a mate as well, because, you know, I've been dealing with him for a long time. He went, "Billy, where are you?" I said, "I'm at work. I'd started my own business then." He said, "You're going to believe this. Do you remember that lad?" I said, "Oh, fucking hell, mate. I registered, you know, thousands over the years." No, you remember that the lad, he was from Wigan, is what he said. I said, "Oh yeah, the little dude with glasses." He said, "Yeah." He said, "He's just been pinched." He said, they've come in. He had a device with him. They took it, and they've took him away, and they've made us aware. Yeah, it was John Venables. So it made me. I'll always remember, because it was when I first started my business, and I put a status on Facebook. I said, "What the fuck have I been exposed to that person because of their false identity?" Right. That's now.
Yeah.
It's fucking vile.
Yeah.
And then my mate, a guy called Richard Manifold.
I know him.
You know Rich? Yeah. Yeah, Rich, yeah.
I know
So,
him.
yeah, blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rich, really good lad. And I grew up living next door to Rich as kids, like literally from 6 years old. And we always sort of like come back into contact every now and again. And he's got my back. And he messaged me, said, "Billy, take that status down now. That guy's protected. You will get in trouble if you pursue that and try and sort of expose the truth." So from that point, I was a bit like, this is fucking wrong.
Well, you don't.
Can't believe you know Rich. That's mad.
Yeah, well,
he's a really good lad. Lots of snowboarding and all that.
Yeah, he used to work in custody.
Yeah,
that's when I first met him. Because
I didn't know if when I dropped the name you'd know, but yeah. He's a really good pal.
I'm still sort of in touch with him to this day.
Yeah.
So he, we must, when I said I was in at Talio for 4 weeks doing that training, that's where I met him.
Oh yeah.
So that would have been what, 21 years ago.
Yeah, he'd be a little bit. So he was 2 years older than me at school. I think.
How old are you?
43 I am, so he'd be 44 now.
So just going back to, you would have remembered the James Baldwin murder then?
Of course.
Yeah, so I remember.
Very young, but obviously documentaries refresh your memory.
Yeah, I remember it.
It's fucking horrible to watch, and oh my God, one of the worst. But you know what? I will watch stuff like that.
Oh, I'm terrible. Have you watched the Ed Gein story on Netflix?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. And I worry why I struggle to sleep. Honestly, I'm there putting myself through it and I'm like, I don't like this, but I can't stop watching.
Do you struggle to sleep though? Because I'll tell you what, my head hits that pillar and I'm gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that, I always think of my children, in these circumstances, and I'll hold them. I'll go to bed and I'll go and kiss my little daughter who's 10. So get away, Dad, I'm trying to sleep. But I just go, oh my God, thank God. What one did I watch last night? April Jones. Was it, what was his name now? Mark Bridger.
Yes, I've watched it.
Yeah. Aberystwyth.
Yeah. But my lad come into the room the other day and he was, what are you watching? And I paused it. It's a bit graphic, isn't it? And they're exposed to all sorts, my kids.
Yeah.
But I says, I'm watching this on Netflix. He went, before bed? And I went, yeah. And but that's me all over. I watched something like
Dharma and all that.
I've watched them all,
Got it down your neck straight before bed.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. You really are a hard ass. Or sick, I don't know. But yeah, we'll go with hard ass.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Fair play to you. Okay, so you were comfortable within the custody role.
Yeah, I'd say.
Then what happened? Although again, you've told me you were spinning a few plates in terms of making sure the kids were sorted and they were young and then work and I bet sleep weren't as easy then.
No, and do you know what? It got to a point where I was married then, and the kid's dad would work in like the day. He used to do fencing, like
Just ships in the night, was you?
Yeah, so like he'd come in from work, and quite often either I'd already be at work and the kids would be at my mum's, or we'd be passing and I'd be going out to work.
Yeah.
Or we might have dinner together and then I'd go on nights.
Yeah.
But I'd have to get back for him to go to work, but then I couldn't go to sleep because I've got to look after the kids. Because nursery fees are fucking expensive, aren't they?
Aren't they just? Yeah.
So we tried to do it without sending them to nursery, with the help of my mum. So there were times when I was stopping up off nights, and it was then I thought, you know what, it's getting difficult now. But I still didn't leave.
How long did you do that for?
Years. So I didn't leave custody until Jack, who's my youngest, was about 3.
Okay.
So at that point, Thomas would have been 5.
Yeah.
And I was still juggling.
Did it have an impact on the marriage? You think, or was you?
I don't know. I think
when you're in it, you don't necessarily.
No, but I tell you what, I think it did. I think what I was exposed to impacted him, because I'd come home and tell him stuff, and then he would also be very wary of things. So because I'm being overexposed to child sex offences and things that would upset me.
And he's put a fence panel in a bit of it's a world apart, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'll come home and I might be upset about something, so I might tell him what I've dealt. I'll never disclose any personal information, but I would tell him about what I've dealt with that day at work, or why I was upset, or whatever. Well, then he starts to question everyone around us as well.
And I get that, but also I imagine, like, say you come home sometimes, and I bet sometimes you were just distant or you were quiet, and there's nothing worse than when someone's quiet and they don't necessarily know why it is, and it's a bit like, what's up with that? And then it can cause sort of like a bit of friction, can't it?
Yeah. And you're knackered, and your skin. Like, let's face it, we've got to work. We're not doing it for the fucking love of it, are we? We're going because we need the money. So I was going to work and staying on the shifts and stuff because it was good money.
Yeah.
Going back early off maternity leaves and stuff because I need the money. And then you're knackered because you're doing shifts. So it's going to have an impact, isn't it? On anyone. And
you said, again, before we came on, that your therapy started quite early for you.
Yes, it did. It was about 2015.
What triggered that? Because, I mean, it's a big decision, isn't it, to say I need help?
Oh, yeah. I was ill.
Back then, we weren't really doing it as much.
No, absolutely not. But it's the best thing I did, because I was so paranoid about no one would look after my kids. Not because I wouldn't let them, know what you...
Yeah. Can I imagine that? Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Oh, well, they weren't going out my sight.
Yeah,
like, you know, soft play. Like,
yeah.
we've got quite a few, you know, like a wacky warehouse type place.
Yeah.
I'd sit by the door and I wouldn't relax. And my mates would literally, they wouldn't know where the kids were. They're just off in there playing at night. I wouldn't take my eyes off them. And I'd sit by the door because I think if anyone's going to take them, they've got to get past me. And this is the way I worked or thought every single day.
Is a mad one. And again, I imagine this is how I would think if I'd been exposed to what you've been. Do you try and work things out that are unsolved? So I'm going to ask the obvious one. What's your view on the Madeleine McCann situation?
Oh, it's funny because I was listening to a podcast. It was John Wedger again.
Yeah.
He'd got a mad...
Is he still out there then? Is he still active or is he kind of been...
I don't know. I stumbled across it on Spotify and started listening to it, which made me look him up and listen to another one. Yeah. It's while I'm driving, so I'm just like listening to it. But do you know what? I do between the two. I flip between, was she taken or did they drug her?
Well, and yeah, because they obviously knew how to do that given their profession.
Yeah.
But you spoke about, you know, if you like, I would never leave. I can't imagine what was going through the head doing that in a different building, etc.
No.
Yeah, it's fucked, isn't it? I can't.
You know, you remember the baby monitors?
Yeah.
Well, I used to... When I had my first, you couldn't watch them. You can watch them now, can't you? They're like as clear as day now. Back then, it was the one that you had to listen to, and you had to plug it in.
Yeah.
If I was upstairs, if they was in the cot upstairs, and I was downstairs, that'd be next to me, switched on.
I'll never forget going to Tenerife, and we had bless him, we had this pushchair, and it was like the seat, and then underneath was like a where you could just stick shit.
Yeah.
The eldest would lie under there.
Yeah.
So they're next to us at the table, having a drink on the night.
Yeah.
And they're both asleep.
Yeah.
But you think, you have a look and you think, what do you want them to do? Put them in a room? No.
Yeah.
Nah, that ain't happening.
No.
But so you're a bit on the fence with it.
I flip depending on things that I watch because again, I love the conspiracy theory stuff. I do, so I might watch like a Madeleine McCann documentary. There's one on Netflix about 8 episodes long.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. And but then it's whoever's produced it or whatever, they're spinning a narrative, aren't they? Well, no one will ever really know what happened, only them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And even then, if they didn't drug her and she was taken, not even they know. So I'm really like, yes, they've got the tools and the profession too of potentially give us something to keep her asleep so they could go off and have their... This is the thing I was listening to the other day and I didn't know this, but apparently they were swingers. And apparently in the group, the Tapas 7 or whatever they were, Tapas 9.
Lit up then. You like Jerry, don't you?
But I didn't know this but I was listening to podcast the other day.
You wouldn't put it past it.
But then when you start listening to more like that, I sway more towards, well, they've probably drugged them then.
Swing.
Yeah, swing more toward that. But then I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When you see about that bloke who, you know, the one that's in prison for raping the old woman.
The German guy.
Yeah. When you read about him.
The one who wants it to be him.
And he was in the vicinity at the time. When you hear all that stuff, you think, oh, well, maybe it was him. Yeah. So I'm really much like that. Like, because we don't know.
And then you had all the pictures and stories of the girl they thought they'd found her. And she's alive and she's just normal. Living this normal life. But I think she was living in Switzerland or Germany.
That's it, yeah.
Like but yeah, no, interesting. I wanted to ask you that because again...
What do you think?
If you was to sort of give you a verdict now, drugged her.
Do you reckon? Yeah. And then disposed of her somehow.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think that when you there's the story, isn't there, about her being carried by a guy.
Yes.
Again in a nightie and whatnot, which was accountable by a few people.
Yeah.
But now I do think there's definitely more to it.
Yeah. There's more to it, without a doubt.
I don't know. Honestly, she's going through court at the minute because someone's stalking her.
Yeah, I saw that.
What's her name? What's the
Kate?
Kate. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't know. It's the lack of empathy in it when they've done their bits.
Yeah,
he looks a bit, but he's a bit like, don't know.
And this is what I was listening to again. Things that I didn't pick up on at the time, but from what that.
But yeah, you know that. You're like.
Well, with what John was saying, apparently, see, I remember it. I remember when it happened.
Yeah.
I was in Mallorca.
Yeah.
At the time when it happened, I remember it being all on the tellies there. These little girls gone missing, and I was working in the police environment then, but it was a long time ago, wasn't it? So I can't really remember the press conferences and things. But apparently, from what John was saying on that podcast I listened to, she on one of the press conferences, like the day after or the day, she's made up, face done, earrings. He's like, would you be like that?
Nah. No,
would you have? Mate, I'd be
don't
fucking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can be as professional or as composed as you want, but yeah, some to me. I don't think we'll ever know.
No.
Don't think we'll ever know. And that's the truth.
Do you remember Shannon Matthews?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Was that Roy Whiting?
No, she was in the bed, weren't she? Do you remember? She was in.
No, watched it the other day. That was that couple, weren't it? The young lad with the glasses.
Yeah.
And then the older lady, and then the uncle got involved in it.
Yeah, she was in the divan bed.
Because this was my bird. I shouldn't call that my significant other. She'll sit and watch them with me, but she's always watched them before me. She's like, wait till you see this, but I'm like, fucking stop it.
Yeah.
I want to get the shock from it. But she watched that, and it was twisty. You know, you were a bit like, this is just like, I don't know how this is going to act, kind of thing. But
I remember, was there like I don't know if it was called a GoFundMe back then, but there was a whip round.
Yeah.
And she's gone round like Asda or something, and she's like filled a trolley up, and there's like multi-bags of Monster Munch and that. Like just doing like a supermarket.
It's quite comical.
Sweet. Yeah.
Obviously the girls survived and whatnot. But yeah, madness.
That? What the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely mad. All right, so you mentioned to me that you did actually get into a relationship with someone, didn't you? Within the
so within the police, I had a few relationships in the police, back in the early days. So I was engaged to someone.
Yeah.
Well, from about the age of, I don't know, 19, something like that.
Yeah.
It's very well, back then, and from my experience, it was a party atmosphere.
Got the word incestuous.
And incestuous. It is quite incestuous. You spend a lot of time with these people. Yeah. You could be spending 8 hours a day, every day, with someone. And there's lots of affairs and stuff that go on.
Is there like, you got the hero in the station, and he's always doing the big nicks, and he's the man who's bringing home the bacon all the time, and you're a bit like, wow, he's like the super cop kind of thing. Or was it like that, or do you?
I don't know. I think sometimes you might look at someone in a role. For example, someone that's bringing a prisoner into. I'm booking a prisoner in. Yeah. They're bringing prisoners in it every day, for example, and you might not necessarily look twice at them in a club, but in that different environment. But it's the police.
Bravery that's shown,
and maybe the uniform and like the banter and whatnot. But it's not. That's not just the police. That'll be the same anywhere.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You might work with someone in an office and you might think, I've sat opposite you for a couple of years, we've like become quite close.
Yeah.
And
you get
ordinary,
don't you?
Yeah, in other circumstances you might not look twice, but because you've got to know them and you get on well and there's a bit of bants, you might fancy them.
Yeah.
It just happens, doesn't it?
That's it, absolutely.
So the police is like it for sure, 100%, but I don't think it's much different to like other big organisations.
So we spoke earlier again, and I want to touch on it. These documentaries that are out there about these.
Did you watch that one?
Pop's Gone Bad and all.
Did you watch the Panorama?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Brilliant, that.
It makes you fucking. So these are the guys. They were like raping women and all sorts, weren't they? Is that the one? Or
which one? Because I've watched one recently about the Charing Cross police station where he's an undercover reporter and he's gone in as a custody officer.
I watched one and they were basically just fucking predators, and they were
What's that one?
So I couldn't tell you now, but it's basically these cops and I keep calling cops on American. These policemen, and they're basically they're out there and they're basically just fully abusing their position. And
you've got Ryan Cousins, David Carrick, those people that have been jailed for things like that.
And obviously the women can't say fuck all because they feel absolutely like,
Well, let's look at the Sarah Everard murder. So it was COVID, wasn't it? She was walking along the street and he's pulled over.
Yeah.
And he's like clearly abused his position there. He's flashed his badge or whatever, and he's ended up killing her. But there was a pattern of behaviour. And when you go back, I think he'd been flashing himself at McDonald's or something. It's how it happens, isn't it? But and he's wearing a police uniform.
Yeah, it's and again, they're normal people, aren't they? At the end of the day, to a degree, and everyone has these kind of like as long as it's within reason, but when they're abusing the position like that, that's where the name it really gets tarnished, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you get a lot of abuse?
No, but then I don't think I'm an easy. I've got a mouth on me and I, so if...
I'm not saying a word.
But I don't think... I'm not saying... because that could come across quite harsh, and I don't mean it like that.
Yeah.
If someone was to sort of approach me in that way,
Yeah.
I feel that I would just tell them to fuck off.
You'd be quick to know what's going on and put the flames out.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that other people in that situation are not capable of that, because they probably are, and do you know what I mean? But for me personally, no one's ever, especially in life in general, in that role. And this is the other thing. See, I watched that Panorama documentary in the week, and I follow a few different
Talk to me about
accounts.
that one you were talking about just now.
Yes,
so I've mentioned
you've got to watch it, because it's only just come out. It's only been out in the last week. It's all over the news. I can't believe you've not seen it.
Yeah.
So it's an undercover reporter called Rory Bibb, I think his name is.
Right.
And he's gone into Charing Cross as a detention officer, which is what I did in custody.
Yeah. Sorry,
7 months.
Charing Cross, London.
The Met.
London, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's an undercover reporter, and he's done that role for 7 months whilst recording. And he's obviously, as you'd imagine, you've got to almost make friends with them if you want to spill the tea. So he's then obviously got into a pub setting. So he's recording in the pub, and inappropriate things being said.
Yeah.
And at work, there was one, there was a sergeant that was making some comments, really quite graphic sexual comments and stuff.
So like the lads in the station?
Bit of both. I think he made a comment to a detainee that was being booked in. You can see that clearly happening. And then just like a bit of like laddish banter. There's a bit of that on there. Yeah. I mean, I think the documentary is probably an hour long. So you can imagine 7 months worth of footage into 1 hour.
It flicked quite quickly. Yeah.
There's got to be other stuff, and that's potentially got to be the worst stuff, hasn't it? Because if you'd imagine, there's lots of good policing that's going on as well.
Yeah.
So that's showing you the worst stuff in 1 hour of 7 months.
Yeah.
So, there is a lot of good work that's being done, but it has uncovered.
What was the worst thing you witnessed?
From what perspective? Because
just where you were stood there or sat there and you thought, I ain't really happy being part of this, or you felt like you were...
Do you know what? I honestly can say, I personally don't think. There was one custody sergeant that occasionally would lose his rag. Okay. And I'm pretty sure once someone come in and was gobbing off, and he fucking launched over the desk or something. And I remember thinking, fucking hell, because he weren't your typical fighter.
Just a bit of a loon.
No, I mean the custody sergeant. He wouldn't normally flip like that, but he did. I remember thinking,
what's going on?
I remember thinking, oh, that's weird, because I worked with him for quite a long time, years in fact. But it later transpired, and I'm not saying it's got anything to do with that particular incident, but it later transpired that he was fucking grooming underage girls online. So he was in the paper and he's lost his job. And I remember reading it thinking, oh, I literally worked with this bloke.
Yeah.
I said that first shift when I'm in there and there's a custody sergeant and then there's me. There was me and him for years, just the two of us. Never did I suspect that at all. Yeah. And then later on, it comes out that he's been stung. The police set up like a sting and caught him.
Yeah. So, again, another thing I wanted to touch on, because there was a lot of people pinched in Tamworth over the last sort of 10 years, again, drugs. And I heard of things like people being initially pulled, then let go, and then actually arrested a year later. They let them sort of work, as it were, for a year, but, again, supplying, mixing drugs, whatever the job may be. And I think they've got their, what do they call it, the Encro or something, the phone or something like that. It's just but I found it interesting that they're willing to go, right, okay, you can go and do it for a year, and we're going to come and get you when we feel like it. And it's I don't know, it's quite a risky game, that, isn't it? But it seems as though, what I'm saying is they're a lot cleverer than what we kind of probably give them credit for in terms of what they know. And
the police? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch that Operation Dark Phone?
No.
It's on 4. I think it's a 4-part series, and it's about EncroChat. So back in 2020, law enforcement agencies hacked the EncroChat server for something like 100 and something days. I think it started in France, and the French authorities hacked into the server and basically allowed other law enforcement agencies in on it, right? So like, say if you, but this, we're not talking WhatsApp. This is EncroChat. This is an Encro phone. This is your biggest organised crime.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, honestly, the documentary of how they've done it, because people that are using the server don't know that they've been hacked. EncroChat themselves didn't know they'd been hacked.
Yeah.
And when they did find out, it was like 100 and something days later, they've put an alert out to all the users, and obviously all the phones had to go.
Right.
But imagine if you had an Encro phone and I had one.
Yeah.
So you're not Billy and I'm not Hayley.
No, of course.
You've got a handle and I've got a handle, so you might be like green sofa and I'm like brown table, and we're talking to each other.
I don't know, but that sounds fucking mad.
But then the police who have hacked in, they need to work out who green sofa is, because you don't know who that is. And it's a story of how they have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Affiliate, that phone to you.
Yeah. So hence the reason it takes a while.
Yeah, yes. It takes years.
Yeah. As I say, I know someone who went through it, and he just said he thought, he got pulled at one point, and he thought, I thought it was away and gone. Like it was sound. Then out of nowhere, bosh, just done the school run, got his pinched, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And he just said he didn't see it coming one fucking bit. But again, it's a big risk to run in it, I suppose. The money's good in it. You know what I mean? That's what they get drew into.
Yeah.
So when did it become not for you, the police? What was it?
Well, I went from custody to homicide. So I went in 2016, left custody, no more shifts for me.
And again, that's deaths and murders and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no attempts, just suspicious deaths or murders, yeah. So from 2016, I've left the custody days behind, and I spent the next sort of 7 years.
So, for example, then, because obviously I told you I went to Crown Court, they extended my stay with them, and you'd have been that sort of police officer that was looking at potential foul play within a situation.
Yeah,
so
yeah. So if that was West Mids, that I would have been on that department, yeah.
Yeah. It was North Warwick, like I say, but it's just interesting that. It just seems like a completely different ball game, you know what I mean, in terms of like, what you guys are having to look at. And I think when you look at it, and the worst case scenario must be like, do you ever think, I really hope this isn't the case? Or was it,
oh God, like, well, yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, but God, I've dealt with hundreds, and they all kind of like, I don't know what happens with the brain, but it's almost like it gets locked away. So I did an episode with Sean Atwood recently on his channel, and he's like really trying to dig in, and he'd said to me beforehand, try and think of like some of the biggest cases. So obviously I was prepared, and I was thinking of all like the biggest cases that I'd worked on and stuff. And it weren't until like afterwards, I think we had a break, and my brother was with me, and he's like lay on this fucking chaise lounge in Sean Atwood's bedroom behind us. And we've had this little break, and I'll tell him, and he's like, oh, what about that one when the brother killed the other brother? And I'd obviously must have told him about it. I'd completely forgot. This happens. So it's like, you forget what happened. It's not like they're all swirling around in my mind all the time. It's like they're gone. And then...
dealt with. Popped.
Yeah. And then it's like, something will trigger me.
Yeah.
Like, for example, that one that my brother was just talking about didn't happen too far from where I live. So if I drive past that road, I think about it.
Yeah. So did you have anything to do with was it gun number 7 or gun number 7?
I know about this.
Still the Fergus bar.
Yeah, and I've dealt with lots of different cases. But I know about that gun, and that documentary. It's good.
I tell you, this chilled me a bit as well. I was in the hospital with my daughter. Had a bit of an issue, and when you're at Goodo, you're always seeing what you call it, what do they call them now?
The police.
People who are locked up.
Prisoners,
yeah. Prisoners coming in and out in the grey tracksuits, and this one lad come in, and he had like the dreads and that, and he was just looking at everyone, and everyone was just a bit like, fucking hell, he looks mean as fuck. Anyway, they sat him down. He's in the waiting room. They called his name out.
Yeah.
Elroy Ruddock. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you saw, there was an incident in Coventry where this gang had gone onto another gang's turf. So this guy got fucking shanked up, stabbed. Me being me, I'm a nosy cunt. Right, so I've gone fucking, what's it?
Googled you.
Like the geezer's murdered this black bloke. There's a full documentary about it again.
No,
21 years without parole or whatever.
Yeah.
It's serious. I was sat talking to him.
21 years is quite light.
Yeah, well, again, I don't know whether it was, I think it was something to do, I think it was 17. No, I don't.
That's really light.
Yeah, but, yeah, and when he left and I'd looked at, I was like, oh my fucking God, I've just been talking to that guy. And he was just like, he talked to me about the football.
Yeah.
He was having a laugh with the screws.
Yeah, but don't forget,
you're about him, like.
Yeah. I remember speaking to a hitman once. He's the most gentlemanly man I've ever met in my life.
James Bundy.
Oh, he was an older man.
Okay.
And he was like, you know Bob Ross, the painter?
Yeah.
He reminded me a bit of him.
Yeah.
He was an old, like a real gentleman. Like,
Yeah.
you know, back in the day when like people used to be proper gangsters, not like these days. Like,
No, yeah.
You know the picture I'm
Well,
building up.
they're not wanting people to know because...
Yeah, and they wouldn't hurt women or children.
Yeah.
And it'd all be for a reason.
Yeah.
He was like that, honest, but he was the most gentlemanly person I've ever met. And it was back in the day, I sat and chatted to him. So he was produced from prison on what used to be called a Home Office production order.
Yeah.
I think they still do it, but basically, like, let's say you got locked up for murder, but the police know that you're potentially responsible for other murders.
Mm-hmm.
The Home Office allow the police to produce them from prison to question them about other crimes. So he was what's called a HOPO, Home Office production order. So he was in for days, and you have to treat them as though they're in prison. So police custody is very different to prison.
Of course.
So he had to have like the run of the wing. So back, you know, like these days they've got super cells, like big, massive, like super blocks with like 60 cells. Back then, I worked in like Rose Road in Harborne. It had about 14 cells.
Yeah.
So he had like the run of the female wing.
Oh.
Which is only like 4 cells long, but that's the best you could get. Wheeled in like a telly, like you used to do at school, for him to watch. Do you know what I mean? And like order him a pizza in or something, because you got to treat them differently. You can't just whack them in an all-day breakfast and a Frosties bar, because they don't get that in prison.
Yeah.
So, but honest to God, I sat chatting to him probably for like the whole of the shifts on nights or something, and he was fascinating, proper fascinating.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, like, yes, he's a hitman, he's probably killed like however many people, but he didn't seem threatening to me.
And I think, like, you know, you watch the films, don't you? And once they've done it once, it's all a bit like, okay, pulled the trigger out still, and that's not as bad as what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's just a job, innit?
Yeah.
But again, you sat there listening to him, it was a bit like, and he was telling you about some of the stuff he'd done, was he?
Yeah, and how he'd been caught. I think he'd been, like, I think there was like a hard stop on the motorway or something. It must have been on his way to do something. He had like firearms in the boot or whatever.
Yeah.
But I always found the people that came in for the most serious crimes were always the easiest to deal with.
Yeah.
It was your petty shoplifters that used to throw shit up the wall and tell you to suck your mum.
Yes, suck your mum. Again, I'm not going to mention names, but there was a scenario or a really sad incident happened in Tamworth a long time ago. Might be 15 years ago now. And a girl was murdered by a young lad, and he got caught for it quite quickly. And I know the family really well. They're lovely people, and her stepdad now, he said to me that the lad who's done it has apparently turned Muslim in jail because he then gets protected.
Oh, right.
Does that sound right?
I read something about this recently.
Because I think that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, well, of course it is. What?
You know what I mean?
It's not a genuine.
Of course, it's not.
Reason, is
he's
it?
Not Muslim. He's just, you know, he's obviously got a bit of advice or something. You know, he's probably had a licking and thinks, I don't want that again. What can I do? But the fact he's allowed to exercise that just by going, I'm a Muslim. It's just it's mad.
What's it he actually allowed to do? So if he turns Muslim, what happens?
All I know is again protected. That was what I was told. I didn't know if you'd know anything about that.
No, I don't. But I was saying to Kev earlier, because he said he would like, you know, podcast guests who you'd like to have on, and I mentioned Tommy Robinson, and I'd listened to one of his episodes recently on Andrew Gold's Heretics channel, and he was saying about he'd been in prison, obviously, and he's in solitary.
Yeah.
And when you come out, You've got like the terrorists and the jihadis. They've got like their own fucking wing with the kitchen and air fryers and all sorts in. And he was like, how is that fair? Like, do you know what I mean? So that was a really interesting episode.
Yeah.
But this is the whole injustice of the world, isn't it? This is why I fucking started Spin Justice, because I was so sick of the criminal justice system being so shut. And like I think what did it for me, like I'd work as, say, like a family liaison officer.
Yeah.
So I'm in with the family.
That must have been the hardest thing you've had to do.
It's hard because you consume their grief.
Yeah.
So you're in with this family from day one and you're with them till the trial. That might be 12 months later. So you're feeling all of their grief in that time. When
I got released, I'll never forget it, that I got a lift home, which was nice of them, and they took me to my brother's house, and my youngest brother, Tom, had been drinking because he was just, they weren't getting any news, were they? So they were in a mess, and that's how he coped with it. And he went for them. They've brought me into the house, and he was, I mean, he's not really a fighter or anything. He's the most angry I've ever seen him. He was genuinely gonna, it was a man and a woman, and they've just brought me home, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I imagine it's quite.
Yeah, it is.
You're the person who's got to be that buffer, aren't you? And
you know what, as well, in that role, yes, you're a family liaison officer, so you form a relationship with the family, but you are still an investigator. So you might have to break that because they might tell you something that forms part of the investigation.
Yeah,
it's got to be fed back. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to build up a good rapport with them, and 9 times out of 10, they're just grieving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They ain't doing anything wrong.
It's not the real person as such. It's just an emotion, isn't it?
Yeah. But when you say it must have been the worst job, yes, it was. But I struggled, obviously, as most people would, with children, deaths of children. People
get over yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. Luckily, there's probably a handful in the time I was there. Because don't forget, there was like 8 teams. So you're not getting every murder that comes in. It gets split across the department.
Yeah. So
for me, I'm probably dealt with a handful of child deaths in that time, which is still too much.
Of course.
But you're probably dealing with. You might have to then like go and help another team do something, for example. So you might have to get involved in a job or a murder. Just for a couple of days, and then you go back to your team just because they might need some help in the first few days. It's quite common.
Yeah.
So you are exposed to loads.
Yeah.
But obviously, child death, you shouldn't have to deal with it.
No, of course. I think that the thing that obviously this podcast is geared around is mental health, and it sounds like you've been through a hell of a lot, seen a hell of a lot rather, been exposed to a hell of a lot. Look. It sounds as if the young girl in Northfield that could handle herself and the lads were scared of
Still are.
was prepared for such a role in life, and I think that stood you in good stead. But no one's a robot, and I wonder how you've coped or how you cope.
So at that stage when I started getting therapy, so going back about 10 years now, that was the point where I wouldn't let my kids out of my sight.
Yeah.
And I just basically went to the doctors and I said, I need some help. They didn't help me. The police didn't help me. I had to self-refer to over by us, South Birmingham. There's this thing called Healthy Minds.
Okay.
And it's just talking therapy.
Yeah.
I went for like an initial appointment and they assess you and you have to fill in some paperwork and then they have a chat with you. And they said, right, we've got like different levels of therapy that we can offer you. Let's just have a chat. And once I'd started talking and started telling them, like, basically walking the dog with the pushchair through the park, and I see an old bloke walking towards me, I think, oh, you've probably got bowel conditions because you're not allowed out until the kids are in school. Yeah. Because I was so paranoid that everyone was a paedophile.
Yeah.
This poor fucker's just going to buy his paper, and there's me, like, noncing in.
Everyone had a story.
I'm thinking yeah. So, when I started telling them things like this, they were like, oh, you actually need some quite in-depth therapy because it all comes down to like, what do they call it? They call it something, but not like your morals, but like your core beliefs.
Yeah.
So that was a core belief for me. I just.
So that old bloke stops and talks to you. Hello, love, you're like, the fuck? What's he want?
Yeah,
You were on guard kind of almost before you even got...
Yeah, and it would be, because I was so overexposed to badness, because I was dealing with it every single day, that became 100% of my world. Where actually it's 1%, isn't it?
But that badness came from the real world, and you still...
And I was living in that area.
That's what I mean. It's hard to...
So you're booking in a priest or a teacher or a sports coach for like sex offences against children, and I live on that area. Why wouldn't it be happening to my kids?
Yeah.
I only live there, and you work there, so
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it just became to the point where I was ill, and I mean, I was so anxious. Oh my God, like I just was not well. My mum was like, you're not right. My marriage was breaking down.
You're an energetic person, aren't you? And I imagine it was like pent up.
Yeah, I was like, I was just a mess. I was a mess. You know,
a bit broken from it.
Yeah, you know, to the point where like you could drop a cereal or something on the floor. It'd be like the end of the world.
Yeah.
I was like that.
Yeah.
I'd literally be sobbing because I've just dropped something on the floor, because it was just like, oh, what now? What's going to happen next?
I'll get lucky still. I have to set all my clothes out for work, ready for next day. If I can't find something, bosh them off.
Yeah.
It's stupid,
yeah.
But still having therapy.
No, I've had loads over the years, absolutely loads. I've been discharged from a community mental health team for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And been all right, touch wood, but I left the place, didn't I? And I remember my psychiatrist saying to me, you're not happy at work, you're not happy in your relationship. I was divorced at this point. I was in a new relationship. I was with him for a couple of years. He was in the police. It weren't for me. But at that point, I was in an unhappy relationship, in an unhappy job. So you're unhappy, ain't you, all the time? And
swap it out.
Yeah, and he was like, I reckon.
Sounds easy, I know, but...
Yeah, but it's not, is it? Like, you know, I've been in this environment, in the police environment, for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as easy to just go and get another job. Like, what skills have I got?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. Like, you know, again, talk about Richie and his story with not being able to get a job at Tesco and whatnot after the army. And it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
All you are is almost damaged.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to...
So it wasn't as easy, but I did eventually... I went on LinkedIn, you know, applied for different jobs and stuff, and I got out, ended that relationship, and then I have been completely better since.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it was just my environment.
You spoke to me about the spin, and you said it's like, yeah, come on, and it gets it out, that kind of like, sometimes you got that pent-up energy.
Yeah, me teaching spin is my medication.
Yeah.
I'm on that bike 6 days a week, like, lights down, strobe lights on.
Kev likes spin, don't you, Kev?
So yeah, music up high.
Get him in.
Honestly,
you told me he's amazing.
Hi, sir. So yeah.
Spin,
this morning.
Spin doctor, apparently they call him.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I wouldn't fancy
I like it. I'm gonna have to wear that
padded shorts.
Yeah.
It just it takes it out of my derriere.
Yeah. I'm moulded to it now. Yeah. Lots of people say to me, that's like probably one of the biggest questions about the seat and the bruising. But probably after the first few days, like, bear in mind I'm on the bike every day.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't feel it at all now. But I've had padded seats, padded shorts, all of that in the past. Do you need to... Is that right?
That's all.
Yeah.
Final few questions. Advice to any person, doesn't matter whether young or who's looking to join the police.
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
That cut and dried.
Do you know what? If we were to go back, because it's not the same as it was.
Okay.
It's not a force, it's a service.
Yeah, okay. I like that. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the same, is it, anymore? It's not, you know... It's going to sound quite harsh, but there's no backbone. You know, people don't respect the police. I'm not anti. Of course I'm not. Like, if I was in trouble, I'd phone the police. I wouldn't have faith in the system.
It seems to me like there's more of this, what do they call them, the special, do you know, like the part-timers, whatever they call them, like they're retained police people. I don't think they're proper police people. They seem to be knocking more around Tamworth.
Oh, really?
Actual police people. And they come and they have a word with you, but they're just, you can tell they can't do fuck all. They just look a bit like, will you do this, please, or won't you? I had one pull up alongside me the other day. I was parked on some of the zigzags, and they were like, oh, you know, just move on. And I went, why you got to speak to me like that, mate? And he went, and then drove off. I was like, fucking hell, what's the point?
Yeah.
But they do, and they're out there, aren't they? Just trying to tell little youths what to do and that. Whereas for me, they should be trying to, buddy up with them and keep them on side, kind of thing, as opposed to chasing them about. And
But this is how it used to be.
yeah. You had a bit of an
But
understanding.
everything's changed now. If you think it's all to do with probably money and whatnot, but you'd have a beat, wouldn't you? People would patrol their beat. They'd know their area. They know who's committing the burglaries. They know who's nicking the cars.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they'd know their area. It's not like that now.
Oh, there's an episode of False Narcissus, and Dale gets pulled over, and the copper goes over to him and goes, "Come on, Dale, toe the line. You're going a bit fast." And then he goes, "Yeah, I'll whip that kettle round to your mum tomorrow and all that." It's all okay in that line, but it's I imagine that's what it was like. All right, so yeah, don't do it then. Don't go in the police. That's your advice.
Said to me, that's what I said to Richie on that.
Yeah.
If my kid says to me, "I want to join the police," I'd say, over my dead body, you ain't doing it. You ain't doing it, because I've had the inside knowledge for 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, pick something else. The money ain't good enough for what you have to do.
Yeah,
Fact.
I understand that.
And, even if you are really passionate, because let's face it, most people join because they want to make a difference and all that. And that's brilliant. We need people like that, of course we do. But you're going to stumble across barriers in there. You ain't going to be, you're only going to scratch the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen to that John Wedger episode.
Yeah,
I don't even have to say it. He says it all.
Yeah.
And you think but for me, absolutely not. But having said that, I'm grateful for the 20 years I've had.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, guys, get across, have a look at Hayley's podcast, Spin Justice. That's what it's called, isn't it?
It is.
You are really busy. You're all over it.
All over it.
How do you do in a day? 2 or 3?
Sometimes 2.
Yeah, sometimes it's you, doesn't it?
It does take it out,
They are really good. Some really interesting guests. And you've been on some really interesting people as well. I think Sean Atwood and people.
Yeah,
like that.
I tell you, he does loads. Tony Morrell, the good, the bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
He bangs them out, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
He does loads more than me.
Yeah.
Talking Tradesman's another one. He does loads.
Yeah. No, fair play. Well, listen, thank you.
Thank you.
Like I say, it took a long time to sort, but
I got there in the end.
really appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.